And start.
Hello, welcome to Turtle Island's Turtle Tuesday. Here we are again at Turtle Island with Is Your Turtle Healthy? And so I just wanted to start out actually by saying, we just started Turtle Tuesdays just a few weeks ago, and so this is new. So I don't know what you all like, and so I would love to hear from you. If you think that this week or last week was great, please give us a thumbs up. Let us know, and encourage us to know what we want to do for the future. If you think to yourself, oh my God, I would have been better off watching reruns of TMZ all night, then please let us also know. I can take it. I won't cry, maybe a little bit. So no, please, this will also help us let us know what we want to do for the future and what you want. If you are a turtle geek out there, like we are, and there's a species or a question that you have, please also ask us. We probably have that species, and we may have either fixed or tried to fix the problem that you have, or incubated those eggs the way that the question that you have. So please just ask us, and if we don't know, we might be able to learn from each other, which is what this is all about. So let's get started with today's series. We are going to start out we have 3 turtles today. They are called Emys orbicularis, and they are European pond turtles. I'm wearing gloves today because these animals are not all out of quarantine. Some have come to us as an animal shelter animal, and so there's a potential for disease. So we're going to start out with the one who's been with us the longest, and then I may have to do some glove changes so that we can make sure that everybody stays healthy. One of the things that I wanted to let you know is that, so we have, there's so many different species, and the species, even within the species, the animals are different. And so I tried to pick 2 different healthy European pond turtles to kind of show you that even within the same species, they are different. And this may be just the individual characteristics. It may be that a turtle was from a confiscation, and so it's been stressed. And so one of the important things to do with them, because they're not domestic animals, is you want to give them some space. To find out if your turtle is healthy, it's really about watching them. It's really about observation. And so we want to give them some space where we see, are their behaviors normal for that species? Is this behavior normal for the animal? If you come upon an animal that's on the road and you don't know if it's been hit, then you want to stay far away for a while, as long as it's not in the middle of a lane of traffic, and watch it and observe it. If it's something like a tortoise or a box turtle, which can go into its shell, it may go directly into its shell and close up, and then you have no idea. You can't see if it was active, you can't see if it can walk. And so giving them a little bit of space to be themselves, to feel comfortable. Also, one other issue is if you do see animals on the road, if there's not a direct danger of them getting run over, it's best if you can allow them to continue on their way. If it's and you may want to observe them and make sure that they make it to the other side. If it's say like a desert tortoise, if you pick them up, they might get nervous and urinate, and then it can be a big danger to them because they've lost a lot of their hydration, they've been very stressed. If it's sometimes turtles may be walking one direction and they have minds of their own, and you think, I know which direction they're walking, I'm going to pick them up and safely move them. They decide that nope, they don't want to go there anymore, and 5 minutes later they're back in traffic. So if possible, stop the car, watch them, and if they're walking along, let them do their thing. That is the safest way to go. We have a few species here, so a few different animals here. So I'm going to start out with one that tends to be one of our friendly ones, where if I pick this one up here and I look and I say, is this turtle healthy? Well, there's a lot of things that I can look at, and with dogs and cats, we look at their gums, we feel their abdomen, we listen to their heart. A lot of these things are not quite so easy with the shell, so we have to look at different things when we look at a turtle. Right away, I can see that this turtle is bright and alert and responsive, It's looking around, it's interested in what's going on, it's trying to push me away with great strength for its size, which shows that it's healthy and strong. The eyes are nice and bright, the jaw looks good, and then we look closer and we look, does it have all of its nails? Does it have any lesions on the skin? Are all of the scales intact? Does all of the coloration look good? Which can be difficult because they're all different colors, but you will sometimes see bruising or cuts or lesions, fungal diseases, things like that. So we want to look throughout the whole turtle and see, do we see anything that looks like different spots here on the shell? Look at the tail. Is there any, this is what's called their cloaca. They urinate, defecate, and lay eggs all out of one hole. So you want to look and see, is there any swelling here? Does it look like, this is an aquatic turtle, so you're not really going to see much, but on a land turtle you might see diarrhea stuck to that area, or feces even impacted from up in here. I have seen that actually with a desert tortoise. We want to look closely at very helpful with with my gloves. This is why we didn't do babies this week, because of tears of gloves and animals that the baby is the healthiest, the purest, so we don't want to take any risks. So we didn't do baby week. We want to look at the shell. Do we see any breaks? Does everything look like it's intact? Has it been bitten by anything? Any signs of old trauma? So with this animal, I say, look, this looks like a really healthy animal. When you get even more experience with the females, with actually both species, or genders, but you want to feel and you want to say, are there eggs here? We can actually feel, if we put our fingers up in these inguinal areas, if there are eggs up in here, and I can actually feel eggs. So that's pretty exciting. You just kind of gently feel up. You can kind of move them back and forth. But up in this area, not all tortoises, do not try this with a Galapagos tortoise. You will break your fingers. But with a lot of turtles and tortoises, you can actually feel if they have eggs. So this is our example here. I'm gonna, because my hands are sweaty, because it's 1,000,000 degrees like it seems to be everywhere, if I take the gloves off, I will never get a new set back on. So we're gonna double glove, real safe. I'm a safety girl. And we're gonna look at our next turtle. This one is quite a bit more shy. For this animal of the same species, this is normal behavior. You could see the head is in, and initially when I picked it up, but soon after it comes out and we get that same behavior. But sometimes normal behavior for the same species can just be hiding within their shell. And so you just really have to spend, if it's your pet animal, you have to know it's normal. And then when you bring it to the vet, so our version of the one who's very friendly might need to go just down from the table so we can pay attention. Yes, I know. Oh, I know, that was fun. That's so helpful. And so, as you can see, first time I pick this animal up, it brings its legs in and it brings its neck in until it feels safe. So we know that for this animal, that this is normal behavior, and I can do all of the same things here that I did with the other one. We can look at all the nails, we can look at the shell. I know that this animal is healthy. We've done a physical exam. We're still doing the waiting quarantine period, but everything at this point looks good. So this is just another example, but there are much more extreme examples, especially if you get to box turtles. Box turtles can obviously, as the name implies, close up their box. And then one is you can't see anything, and two, that sometimes like a captive bred box turtle may not really go into their box at all. They might just hang out just like this. And then that's not helpful. You were supposed to be out at that time. Remember? You have a deal. You eat fish, you eat more fish tomorrow. But sometimes a box turtle is going to do exactly what that implies and be the box.
We have a question from Emily.
Okay.
Because it's so hot everywhere, how can you tell if a turtle is dehydrated? Do their feet get burnt when they're on hot asphalt? If so, how can you tell?
So what can happen is if they're dehydrated, sometimes you can see sinking in their eyes. Their eyes will sink. Because a person, you can get the dehydration that you can tell in their mucous membranes. You cannot see that on a turtle or really notice that. But sometimes their eyes will be sunken. And I have actually never heard of a turtle burning its feet on asphalt, although I have to imagine it would be possible. I don't live in Texas or anything, and I used to live in Alaska, so maybe I just never experienced the burned turtle feet. But as far as I know, I have never heard of that. My guess is that they would run off it fast enough, and unless they were somehow stuck on it, because they can get burned. It does happen with people's heat lamps, where they will actually get burned on the heat lamp. Hope that answers your question, Emily. Now we're going to go to our next one. This turtle was brought to us as an animal shelter turtle, and it was found on the road. And as you can see, its head is out, and it's looking around, but not quite as active as the others. The arms are out, but they're folded and not moving. He's not trying to push me away. One of the things, I looked at this eye, it's bright, but not as open as the other two turtles. Now, something that is harder to appreciate now is that when we first got this turtle, its eye was actually falling out. It had been run over by a car, we believe, and its eye was falling out, and the plan was to remove the eye after it got stronger. But I used some antibiotics. We used antibiotics and antibiotic ointment, and the eye actually fell out on its own this week, so that problem is solved. And one of the things is that when you see something that is so severe, it's even as a veterinarian, when you see the eyeball fall out, you're like, ooh. And so you kind of focus on severe injuries like that. So first I noticed the eye, then I noticed the inability to shut the mouth. Since it's been with us about 2 weeks, I want to say now, the mouth is shutting more, and I feed it I open its mouth slightly with a toothpick, and then using a Starbucks wooden stir or a coffee wooden stir, I just gently place the food in its mouth. They are turtles that eat in the water, and so then I lower it back in the water and it chews and is able to swallow. So once I stopped staring at the eyeball falling out, I noticed that there was this wound here. And so you can see that there was a crack here, which would correspond with the injury on the head. I'm very amazed that the rest of the head appears to be in good condition. Skull x-rays can be really difficult to figure out and to see any small fractures. And also their head has to be out, and I didn't want to sedate this animal because of the risk of sedation. There's nothing really we can do so easily with fixing this. And so, as I had said, it's improving. We had multiple injuries, and I wanted to just kind of see how everything healed. About a day after we received it, and I was trying to treat the eye and the other lesion, I noticed that as I moved the shell, both the top and the bottom shell, part of the shell, which this is called the carapace, and this is called the plastron, they actually move independently of another. I am not going to do this. I'm sure it is painful to the animal. We have been giving pain injections, but we try to make things as pain-free as possible. So for the sake of the animal, I'm not going to demonstrate it. But if I take this plastron here, this bottom part of the shell, it will twist. And so I believe that it was really run over on the top and is compressed on both sides. And since it seems to be compressed kind of symmetrically, I wonder if it kind of got run over on the edge of the tire and not, I think if it went completely over the turtle, it probably would have been just a pancake. It just compressed both of which these areas are called the bridges, and the bridges compressed expect that will not be any problem, and that should be able to heal. It may always be slightly more flexible than a normal turtle, but it's that really shouldn't be a problem. We don't have any indication that there are internal injuries. And so at this point, we're just trying to feed this animal and doing the best that we can to make this as pain-free as possible.
Me to tell you, oh, it's back again. Ben wanted me to tell you that you should call this tortoise Stink Eye.
All right, there's Stink Eye. Oh, I've been caught with my old lady glasses on. I'm going to be 50 this year, so I have my...
What? I don't believe it.
I have my glasses hidden over here. And when we apparently lost some bandwidth and I went off, I started staring again at this animal to make sure I wasn't missing anything that we could go over. But basically, Stink Eye here has been doing wonderfully. One of the other things that I have had other animals that have had similar type injuries, and a lot of it is whether or not to euthanize. Is it worth it? Is it mean? A lot of those thoughts come up with people, and so I really try to see, does this animal have a real interest to live? Does it want to? Is it in so much pain? The one we had who also got run over, it always tried to spit the food out. It never moved in or out of the sun. It didn't bask and try to do anything. It didn't try to eat. And so that one, unfortunately, we did euthanize. This Stink Eye here always tries to eat, seems to really enjoy the sun, seems to really enjoy certain parts of things. I don't have any indication that there's a lot of pain. So we're gonna keep trying with Stink Eye. Thank you, Emily's son. I think I heard his name was Ben. So thank you so much for that. We're gonna put Stink Eye back here, and Stink Eye is gonna have his toothpick / coffee stir feeding coming up very soon with very tiny pieces of fish. It's an exercise in patience, by the way, not so easy. And once again, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to let us know. I'm going to take off these gloves here because, as I said, it's about 90-something degrees, or 33 maybe in Celsius. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed today and you want to continue this and you want to support us helping these animals, please go on our website, sign up for our newsletter, make a donation, consider a monthly donation. It really helps. Just one dinner out, if you just don't have that one dinner out, you could feed a turtle for an entire month. And so just doing a monthly donation of what would just be going out for dinner will make all the difference in an animal's lives. Please consider that option. Go on our website, sign up on our newsletter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I think that just about covers it. Thank you all, and have a wonderful week.